How's it going? And welcome back to another episode of the One Piece Virgin podcast. Today we're covering the first half of Skypiea. With me today, of course, we have our One Piece Virgin Poseidon. What up, gamer?
Hello! Glad to be back.
Hell yeah. And we got Jordan.
Yellow, happy to be here. What's
Yep.
up, everybody?
So we ended off Jaya with the first opening playing. They're taking the knock-up stream up to the sky. They're going straight up, and honestly, it was such a hype moment. But they do finally land on some clouds. The white sea.
Yep.
Poseidon, what are your general thoughts on the arc while I fix my lighting?
Just like overall the first half,
Yeah.
how I felt. I've been enjoying it. Definitely a change in scenery has been quite the shift. I'm so used to seeing the nice blue watery ocean, but now we're up in the clouds and their ocean is just clouds. So it's fun. I actually been really enjoying Skypiea.
Hell yeah. Jordan, do you have like any general thoughts on this arc?
Yeah, it's a fun arc. Glad to hear Poseidon doesn't feel like too much of a fish out of water with the ocean being gone and all. But it's a change in scenery. It's a fun little arc, and it's not even really just an arc. Like it is one of the first times we have like basically one arc that's also like its own saga, right? Like by the time Skypiea wrapped up, that was like a third of the manga at that point. So
With this arc, Skypiea, I really like this arc. However, I do think it drags at times, and but I also think it's underrated. It gets a bad rap. Some of the community used to hate on Skypiea quite a bit back in the day.
Really? I've been enjoying it. I mean, I guess I could see why people would think it's drag, because there were moments where I'm just like, dang, this could have been like half an episode. But I mean, that's just like One Piece, right? Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's already expected at this point. So I wasn't necessarily like that bothered by like some things dragging, but I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing.
Yeah, I think some people also just at the time really thought it was just such a separated arc from the rest of the world. Like you have their adventure to become like the Pirate King, and they're traveling the Grand Line, and this feels almost like a detour where they're going up into the sky, and it's unconnected from the world building is what some people may have thought back then.
I mean, it does almost feel like a whole new world unto itself. Like you are literally up in the sky with a whole new culture, a lot of different technology. So many things are different, and it kind of has to go through and introduce you to that
Yeah.
over the course of an entire saga, right? So it's one. I actually feel like the manga pacing's a lot better than I remember from reading through it the first time. Like it doesn't feel bad to binge read. But yeah, if the anime pacing is slowing anything down, I could see that detracting a lot of people. So, but luckily, except Poseidon didn't seem to feel that, right?
Yeah,
You said it
she's.
felt
I think
smooth.
she's starting to fall so in love with One Piece and the characters.
Yeah.
That she's like the fact that like I feel like you're not even really complaining about the pacing is crazy. I love that for you, and I feel like my first time watching One Piece, I just loved the characters so much that I was in a similar boat.
Yeah.
Any-
I think I'm in that boat too, where I'm just like, I just love the characters so much that I don't honestly mind having to spend like extra time with them.
Exactly.
So, and I don't mind the like filler. I don't mind like things taking a little bit. So that's why I haven't been that bothered, I
Yeah.
guess.
And I also just feel like the beauty of like Oda as a writer is like, and with One Piece being a kind of like a trip around the world or an adventure around the world, like you get these arcs that are so different than anything we've ever experienced. And I think that's actually a good thing. You don't want it to feel repetitive. Like it's just like, dude, it's a whole different story happening right now. It feels like.
Yeah.
No,
I know-
yeah, I agree. Sorry,
And
go
you-
ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and that's the top priority for a lot of the characters, right? Is the adventure. Like I know they kind of discussed it. Nami's like, I choose me, and then also money after that. But Luffy's like, no, it's all about the adventure, and that's what this is, right? So, just it's a little detached, but still fun all the same.
Do you have any standout moments, Poseidon, that like really stood out to you that you really enjoyed or thought was like badass or funny?
I was laughing so hard because I was actually watching this episode last night. There was one particular moment. It was when I believe it was Zoro, Robin, Luffy, and Chopper. They kind of separated into their own group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all kind of go down their own little ways. Like they split up, and then the goat divine soldiers. I think that's what they were called, the divine soldiers. They were like making goat noises. And
Yeah.
they had wings. Well, particularly it was Robin. She found like this cool, almost like abandoned building, and she's like, wow, like the architecture is so cool. And this like goat divine soldier goes up to her and is like, you need to leave. And she was just like so unbothered by him that she just used her devil fruit power and just like snapped his neck in like a matter of a second and just kept moving on with her day. Like I just thought that was just so funny.
Dude, she is super OP against any like normal fodder. Like anyone who's like just not super physically strong. They can even have like cool abilities and stuff. Anyone who's not physically strong, Robin's like super OP against them. It's crazy.
I know, it's insane. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this because they really like One Piece, and I'm like, man, you know, I feel like at this point in the anime they have to they have to put Robin away at some points, because it's like I feel like this fight would be over so quickly if she was there, but like she just happens to not be there. It's kind of like how we were talking about like earlier in the series
With Zoro.
how they had to like nerf Zoro. I feel like they're doing that with like Robin right now.
Yeah, even with the self bird, like it was like they had to make sure that Robin never saw it. Otherwise, all that fun adventure wouldn't have happened. The second Robin saw it, boom,
Exactly.
arm grab, done.
Like her role right now is delegated to like little things. Like if somebody falls off something, Robin will use her devil fruit power to like save them or pick them up. But she hasn't really gotten too much into like, I guess, fighting up until this point, which I feel like if she was fighting, it would have just been over.
One of those weird things where she joined the crew in such a weird way that that this is like the first real. I know Jaya was a thing, but like this is like the first real arc where we've had Robin as part of the crew, right? And gotten to see that dynamic kind of take form. Any thoughts on that, or any?
I guess you could kind of see like everybody finally like kind of getting comfortable with her. I noticed that Zoro isn't necessarily like getting mad at her as much during this arc, because I feel like during Jaya and like a little bit before Jaya, he was still like not accepting her as part of the crew. But I feel like now he hasn't really said anything about it. It's like, okay, yeah, she's part of us now. There's nothing we can do.
You gotta have one skeptic.
Speaking of like the goat guys, I just want to say one of my favorite funny moments was Luffy heard one of the goat guys like, or whatever they are. I don't even know. Like, is it a goat or sheep? I can't. Was it goat? I think they were goat sounds. Anyway, Luffy was excited to hear the animal, because I know he was excited. He heard like the noise of an animal, and he's like, "Oh my god, a goat! I'm gonna get to see a goat!" And then the guy pops up and tries to like sneak attack him. Luffy one shots the guy. He's like, "God damn! I wanted to see a goat."
Just no care in the world.
Oh man.
Anyway, I do want to try and go through this somewhat chronologically. So they land. Poseidon, do you remember, like, so once they land on the White Sea, do you want to try to take us through some events that you remember happened?
So I remember once they kind of land into the White Sea, they get attacked by somebody.
Yes.
And we later get to find out it's this Wiper. They get attacked by him, and they get saved by the Sky Knight.
Let's go.
Who fights off Wiper and gives the crew a special whistle that they can blow whenever they need help. So the crew kind of goes onto their way, and they make it to, I guess, this toll? Like some sort of toll, right? Like a gate.
The old lady walks out. The old lady walks out and says, "Give me all the money."
Yeah, they're like, well, we don't have the money. And she's like, well, I can't necessarily stop you from going through the gate. So they go through the gate, and she goes and tells, I guess, I forgot what they're called, almost like the policemen of that world, right?
Honestly, they're like army guys for Sky Island that like, but they're not exactly associated with NL or Enaru and the priests. It's like a separate like military force, I feel.
I think they kind of work for
him,
them
not
very directly,
not
right?
directly.
They keep doing like the little green beret crawl.
Oh, the green berets! The green berets!
Is that what they're called? Or
I think there's something berets. White berets.
I just know they keep doing that little call.
There's the white berets. And
Okay.
I like
yeah,
it.
they have these rules that they have to follow. So when there's criminals, and then now the fact that they entered like illegally. Now they're all criminals, even though they were pirates, so they were already criminals to begin with.
Mhm.
But they have to like
Mhm.
lead them to the island, right? Just
Yeah,
to
Mhm.
to get judged.
yes. Any fun moments along that way?
We get to meet some of the people that live over there. I forgot if they mentioned like what kind of people they are, but we get to meet Comus, I believe is her name, and her father, and they do like kind of take in the Straw Hats, kind of introduce them to how like the world works up there. We get introduced to this kind of item called dials
Mm-hmm.
that look like seashells almost, and they have like special abilities. Like we get introduced to one that can basically, it's like a recorder. Whatever you say to it, if you press the button, it'll repeat it. And we get to see all these like cool stuff.
You
But
have to see the waiver. Luffy tries the waiver and he
yeah,
can't do it, and then he's
oh
super jealous of Nami. He's like, I hope he falls in.
yeah. She's so mad that she was able to pick him. How
Yeah.
he uses so quick. But we do actually get to see Nami have fun on the waiver,
Mm-hmm.
and she comes up upon an island that is much more different than the one they just went on, and it has dirt on it, and it's called the Upper Yard. So we get introduced to, I believe, the priests of the yard, and she sees them, and she gets scared and runs away.
Yeah, I think they ended up killing, or Anel ended up killing one of the people that were on the island illegally, and she's like, she gets the fuck out of there, right? She sneaks away.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember anything else. There was some funny freaking moments with just like Luffy messing around with Sanji making like a little comment about like he like zoomed in with his like with the binoculars or whatever to look at the ship, and the ship was getting like taken away by a crab bringing them to Upper Yard, and
Yeah.
Sanji just like, why are you wearing a shirt, Nami? Not a shirt. Oh man. Or
There's a
like
lot of little cultural things right there too.
yeah.
Whenever you're first
Yeah.
introduced, that they're talking about, like, and they're trying to take it all in. Sanji's like, "Oh my god, what's this? What's this spice? It's so strong, I can't taste anything." He's like, "Oh, that's just expired. Like, you shouldn't be eating that." Um,
Um,
but over the course of that, we're introduced to dials for the first time. So, I
Yeah.
mean, do you have any strong thoughts on dials in particular, and how kind of wild those
So
are?
those are crazy because I think the last one I was
Mhm.
introduced to before I stopped halfway, I believe, was the impact dial. So if you hit it and press the button, it almost kind of like redistributes that
mhm.
energy that it sucked
Mhm.
up and is like able to really hurt people. And I know we're going in chronological order, but I kind of want to
Mhm.
make note
Mhm.
of something that Godfall said. I believe his name, right? Godfall.
Yeah.
Godfall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the impact dial could easily kill any sort of like normal human being, but here's Sanji getting hit by it and was like completely fine. He
Yeah,
was
dude.
fine after a little bit, yeah.
The
So I'm like,
boys
huh,
ain't normal. The boys ain't
they
normal.
are not normal, no.
It's super funny moment. Usopp almost died. He swam all the way straight down and almost went through where there was no bottom of the
Yeah.
White Sea, and Buddy just almost died. Thank God for Luffy
Mhm.
slash Robin combo, where Robin spawned her eyeballs on Luffy's hand, which is just a cool combo that I just did not remember happening.
This is what I mean. She's just broken. She could do anything. She could
Welcome,
spawn any body part.
Wood.
I know I was saying something about or last I remember I was saying that whenever they had the whistle, they were talking about who's allowed to blow it, and they
Oh
pointed out who
yeah.
we formerly consider like the big three. Like they were like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Robin. They were like, you guys aren't allowed to blow this thing. Like if it's one of you guys, you don't
Hmm.
need it. But
And then we get a
I don't
hilarious argument from
know.
Usopp, Chopper, and Nami arguing about who's more pathetic, who's the least capable, and the weakest member of the crew.
Exactly.
And they decided that they all suck, and they're gonna put it on the ship and hang it up.
Mhm. I will say I noticed Usopp and Chopper were really going through it during this first half of the arc. I was watching it in the English dub, and I take notes of like stuff because I also do voice acting. So I like I guess take notes of how they are voicing it,
Mhm.
and it was a lot of screaming and yelling. Both of their characters were doing throughout this arc, and I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, Chopper and Usopp have just been freaking out, right? They're in a new place, things just keep going wrong. Um, and then I'm like, oh my god, they're poor voice actors. Their throats must hurt after all of this. But yeah, yeah, they really went through it. I mean, having to be transported into the middle of Upper Yard to be told that you are going to be sacrificed, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah. Poor guys.
really
And Chopper
did.
was so sad. He had to defend the ship, and he did a decent job
Yeah.
defending it.
Mm.
Obviously, he blew the whistle, and we could talk about that. But when they came back to the ship somewhat destroyed, Chopper was so sad. He was so scared to come out and face everyone.
Yeah. He did his best.
He did his best. Trying to think what else. So eventually, we have one part of the group that's on the altar, and we have
Mm.
another group that's coming to try to find them at the altar and to kind of regroup. But at the same time, there's like the priests are setting up their locations, the Shandorians are coming for war, and Nell's at the. Oh, also thoughts on Anel.
Wood.
Wood is crazy.
I've been told that so many times. I keep telling my friends, I'm like, why is Anel like kind of hot? And they're like, Poseidon, you are the only person I've ever heard say that.
I mean, he's the best character in One Piece. He's my favorite character
It's
in
his
One Piece. So you
earlobes.
know, I same Wood.
Wood.
Me and
Oh,
my
man.
chat are the number one Anel supporters. We are the
See-
Anel power scalers to this day.
I hate to bring this up because I feel like every episode I bring it up. But my only prior like knowledge of Anel before all of this
Oh.
was the card game
Eminem himself.
because his deck is so disgusting. So
The Anel deck is disgusting. I ran it once. I
hate
ran it
it.
once.
I hate it so much. I hate playing against it. It's so annoying. So I already kind of had like an idea of like who he was
Mhm.
before we like went into this arc.
So
But
I think
you know
it's-
what? I'll forgive him.
I
I'll
think it's
forgive him.
canon. I do think he was his design is based off Eminem. I do
Is
think
it
that I
really?
do think that's canon. I don't think that's a fan theory. Chat, can we back that up?
Yeah, I think Oda said that in an interview.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Oda said
Wait,
it in an interview.
what?
But who knows with how some people make
He's
stuff.
based off of Eminem.
The rap god.
Yeah, I said there's no telling what's real and whatnot whenever it comes to interviews with Oda because some people just make stuff up online. But I
Yeah.
believe it was an interview with Oda where he said that. I could be making that up, but who knows? I read it online. People don't make stuff up online, right?
It's true. It's true. If it's online, that means it must be true.
Exactly.
Okay, so where were we? Eventually, the boys get to the island. If you want to continue chronologically, Poseidon.
Mm-mm-mm. So they get the upper yard, right?
Upper
where
Yard,
we left
yes,
off?
yes.
So they get to upper yard, and then particularly, I think it's Usopp, Sanji, and Luffy run into one of the priests, Satori, the big sphere guy. So that's when they're kind of introduced to kind of how powerful these priests are.
And you were introduced to Mantra at this point,
Yes.
which is interesting.
The ability.
I think
I'm-
Skypiea is such an important arc. I can't believe people skip it. It's wild.
People skip
People
it.
skip it?
Yeah, people skip Skypiea. At least back in the day, they would say, "Oh, you can skip this arc. It's a standalone." It's wild. It's actually
Ah.
fucking wild because it's so important. It's so relevant nowadays too. 1,000 chapters later, it's insane.
See, when we got introduced to the ability, right? I wasn't sure if this was like something that was completely like just for the sky people. Is this an ability that they just have, or is it something that like everybody has, but they just have to like train it?
You'll have to see
I
and
don't- I
find
don't
out. It's like
know.
that's a good thought process. though.
Oh, okay.
Which
'Cause I
ability are
was
we
like-
talking about? Or-
Mantra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we know that Gonfall can't use it. He was just talking about like the importance of like sky warfare with the different dials. Some people are putting heaters in their spheres. Their birds. He put like a flamethrower in it, basically dial. They use like one of those guys had like basically like skates with like little wavers little dials that are like the wavers, and you're riding different clouds and throwing clouds, and even the guy has spheres of clouds versus other types of clouds. Like the Skypiea warfare is crazy and so different than what we're used to. And then there was the
Right.
moment when Sanji brings up, what about Mantra? And Golfall's like, yeah, even I can't use that, so I don't really know much about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
'cause
so
that
cool
is-
how it. Oh, go for it.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's so cool how they like slow roll that too, because these things at the end of the day are just tools, right? And it shows
Mhm.
you them being used as tools, like to cook and to do all these other things around the house when they first get there. And then you see a guy using like a fire spear and a bird with fire breath, and they're like, yeah, that's the same one that's used to cook, right? Because it has fire, so it's just kind of slow rolls that, and
Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, like Godfall even makes the comment like it's not the dial, it's the person, right?
Yeah.
Same with science and stuff here.
That is very interesting. This is the first time we are introduced to this kind of ability, right? We haven't really experienced it prior. At least it hasn't been addressed. Right?
Yeah. This is the
Mhm.
first time we're seeing dials
Mm,
and mantra
okay.
as well. We haven't seen
Mhm.
anything like that.
I see. Interesting. Because I do remember one of the episodes, it was made note that if, like, you trained enough, you'll be able to hear, like, the voices
Ooh.
coming from someone's body, and you'll be able to predict, like, where they're gonna move. So
And that was mentioned in Skypiea or a different episode?
Skypiea. I think it was one of the
Skypiea.
more recent. Yeah.
But then again, yeah, we could point out like that.
watched.
Now that you point that out, like Zoro mentioned when he defeated Mr. One, kind of like ascending to the next level and hearing kind of like the voice of things.
Oh, I never caught that.
And I don't even know if it's the same thing. I actually don't even know. Like genuinely, I don't know. But just now that you bring it up, I'm just like, oh, that kind of was
Yeah.
kind of mentioned prior to this a little bit.
Yeah, because it was mentioned that, like, you could hear voices, like, radiating from their bodies. So I was like, well, that's interesting. Like, that's what made me kind of think, is this, like, an ability that's only able to be used by the Sky People? Can anybody use this if they're, trained enough? Like, that's very interesting, and I guess we're gonna have to hold on to that.
Yeah, 100%. I
we
love that
keep
you're
watching.
thinking about these potentials for the world. I do want to point out Zoro continues to surpass his limits and just gets stronger with every arc. In Alabasta, he surpasses limits, hearing the voice of things, and manages to cut steel Mr. One. And then he does like a ranged attack. You got here, right? Where he fought a guy with a toque and like the two blades. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a cool fight. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, you kind of already
Yeah.
went over it. Zoro just keeps getting stronger.
Yeah.
There was actually particularly one moment with Zoro that I thought was so funny that I was like dying laughing. I believe it was a guy with the guns. He had like the double pistols.
Yeah.
And then Zoro keeps getting like blinded, I guess, by it. And he puts on his goggles and he like comes back from like the back of the tree. He's like, I have my special goggles on. Now I can fight you. And the guy's like, those just look like regular goggles. And then Zoro's like, man, he got me.
He got me. Read my bluff. Yeah, Zoro kills me, dude. Like Zoro cuts like the sea snake in half, and he's like, "This would be good for a barbecue." Gets shot.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, like it's really hype because this is a hard battle for him. He's fighting against someone with ranged attacks, and then he manages to like cut the air and like have a ranged sword attack. It's like insane.
They still had to nerf him
learning.
though by making him not pay attention and then getting shot in the leg though. Like
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Always. We got to see Luffy versus Wiper, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Any thoughts on that one?
Gosh darn, these people have like, it's just so different. Their fighting styles, I guess, are so different than what we've seen before, and it makes me just like I don't think we've gotten to the point where we really know too much about the Shandorian. Is it Shandorian people? Shandorian?
You'll find out more.
Shandorian
Yeah, the
war?
Shandorians.
Yeah.
You'll find out more in the second half for sure.
Yeah, because their characters just like we barely get to know them up until like the halfway point, but they're just so interesting. Like I want to know like why they're I guess the way they are, they want to take back their like their land and stuff.
Yeah, that's the
So.
only thing we do know about them so far. At this point that you've watched,
Oh,
Gonfall revealed that like this. Oh yeah, what's it called?
yeah, I was about to say. I think we kind of skipped over kind of the big twist.
Yeah.
I guess I don't. Would we consider this a twist? I don't know.
It depends on if you saw it coming or not.
Yeah, I did not see this one coming. We do find out that if you remember in Jaya, Mont Blanc, he has been diving into the ocean trying to find the gold from like the other half of the island that's been, missing. And we come to find out that Upper Yard is that island. It shot up into the sky.
Yeah.
400 years prior, which is why it's the only island, at least to our knowledge, right, that has dirt on it.
Yeah,
and
they don't
trees
have
and
dirt
stuff
and
like that. They
soil
don't
and stuff
have
like
it.
that.
No. And that's why, like, the Sky people kind of value the dirt because they don't have that up there. It's very, very valuable. So that was, like, the huge plot twist that Nami was able to figure out that because she found, how do I say this? Mont Blanc's house was kind of like cut in half.
Yeah.
And then the other half was on Upper Yard, and that's when she was like, "Wait, hold up, this is the other half of the island."
Dude, I was literally trying to hint it to you a little bit last episode, where I was like, so wait, like Nolans were trying to search for it underwater, they can't find it. I'm like, where do you think it is? Do you think it exists? I was like trying to like stimulate, like maybe you like theorizing, well, they're going up into the sky, maybe it's there. But like,
well, obviously, if an island disappears, it's going to be in the sky.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, because nobody would have thought of that. I don't blame them for not like thinking that was gonna be a possibility.
Yeah, it's true.
But I also think it's funny that because there was prior knowledge, right, that the other half of the island had gold on it, Nami was like, you know what? We're gonna look for it because she loves treasures and money.
But you know what? Gonfall said he doesn't know what gold is, which is interesting.
They don't know. So maybe
Isn't
they haven't found it yet.
Well, isn't that fascinating though? How like depending on how much of a resource you have or don't have and whatnot, the value of it changes so much. Just like how much of a treasure that dirt, like a bag of dirt, is to that 6-year-old girl, is just wild to me. Even just looking back.
Yeah, in the blue sea, it's dirt. Like it's literally mud. And then up there where they don't have it, they're like, oh, this is like treasure, like sacred land, sacred land.
Exactly.
But like, it's true, like they couldn't, like most of the plants that were growing like would not grow naturally without the soil, right? So they probably need it.
Well, I don't know if you guys caught this as well and whatnot, but they say that the way that there's different clouds that are forming and whatnot is the microscopic organism, or not organism, but like the microscopic material that's used in like sea prism stone.
Oh.
Like whenever it's like shot up from like a volcano and whatnot, like instead of mixing with seawater, it mixes with like clouds and stuff, right? And to form like the different kinds of clouds that they have up there. And I don't know, like I was reading that, I'm like, I don't remember that at all. But that's
This is the first time I literally just rewatched the episodes for this podcast, and this is the first time I'm hearing that. I think you're making it up.
I was reading it, so maybe that's why. Maybe it doesn't say it in the anime. Maybe that's why I don't remember it. But like, but it's, I don't know. It's talking about like how all that forms and how like because of like the different environment and stuff that probably affected like the different plants and animals and stuff over the course of those 400 years. So.
Yeah, it was definitely mentioned. I just don't remember. I'm just joking around.
I didn't catch that.
Also, it's cool to see like the fish that are currently like in the sea of the White Sea are fish that were probably shot up through the knock-up stream and then evolved and adapted to the clouds over time. Which I wonder if the same could be said for the people that have like these wings and stuff like that. Are they just humans that evolved and changed due to the conditions?
That is something to think about, huh? Because I wonder how even those people got up there in the first place.
It's true.
Right?
It's implied that there's multiple Sky Islands. So there was an initial route where you would go from Sky Island to Sky Island to Sky Island, and you would eventually end up at this island that the boys are on, where Upper Yard is and stuff like that. And there would be a lot of casualties along the way. versus the knock-up stream is like an all or nothing thing. It's either everyone dies or everyone lives.
Yeah.
That was a wild revelation whenever it's first revealed, because you're like, we didn't even know there was other options.
Yeah.
They're like, we took the most dangerous route. I think that was when Usopp was like getting so mad. Like, we could have been safer. We didn't have to risk our lives to get up here.
That's one way to take an elevator.
No, I find it very interesting. And then there was another thing that was mentioned, that even the animals and like the life that is on Upper Yard is just like so large. I think it was actually Robin. She was observing something, and she's like, wow, like the moss and the roots just grew over. I think it was a well. Grew over like all of these buildings and stuff. So I'm also like, I don't know if they addressed it too much, but I wonder why Upper Yard, just everything is just so much bigger over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Like
at some
Texas.
point, it's Texas. Like that is exactly right. It's just Texas. I'm like now just like realizing, wow, it was part of like the island of Jaya. So how is it that all of these animals, all of these like plant life got so much bigger? And I'm wondering if it's maybe because it's closer to the sun, because it's in the sky, or like what. But I'm looking forward to learning the rest of the lore for Skypiea.
I think Robin theorized something about like the clouds giving it like different types of nutrients that it would get. We don't know if that's true, but then it would get down on the blue sea.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's like it all like it's crazy how, you know, it doesn't have to make scientific sense like in our universe per se, but like it all comes together and it's so fleshed out in the One Piece world, and it's always fascinating to see how those pieces come together.
Okay. So other than you thinking Enel is hot, and thinking the deck that is overpowered, any thoughts on
do think
Eneru?
that.
Any thoughts on Eneru?
He is a man who is bad. He's a bad man.
Anything about his abilities?
He's the one who has like almost like the lightning stuff, right? Like he does. I remember when I think the priests were all arguing with each other outside of his little palace. He like shot down something. I don't remember if it was like lightning or some sort of energy, but it does look like he can. I don't think I've seen him fight really up until this point, but I mean, clearly he's stronger than the other priests and able to like stop them. I'm very
also you've
interested to see
seen
what he's capable of.
you've seen that the Islanders are talking about like God will smite you down if you like disobey him,
Yes.
and or it's implied that he was the one who smited down Conus or whatever her name is with a gigantic like lightning bolt from the sky.
Yeah.
Destroying
The big hole.
The big hole.
I remember that now. Yeah.
I say, doesn't that make it almost scarier? Is like we don't know a lot, about him up to this point.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
But like Nami saw the guy get just smited down, and then it almost happened to Old Girl too. And then you know, on top of that, I don't know if it's shown this in the anime or not up to this point, but like he's talking about how many people there are in the fight. And then he knows exactly whenever one of them loses, he's like, all right, well now it's down to 8. Like he knows what's going on around the entirety of the country, right?
We
don't know how
mentioned,
or why, but it's not explained yet. But it's
like
just,
he does have godlike abilities. It seems like
Godfall
if I was
had to
living
go
in
to Sky Island, I would think he was a god.
Like Buddy's Santa Claus. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you get killed by a Shandorian.
Exactly. Like if he didn't just show up 6 years ago, like you know, if it wasn't like young enough for my dad to be like, yeah, that's not true. Like, you know, I could see why people would think like, not even just why they would think that, but like with the authoritarian nature of it, of like, if you dare go against like the orders, lightning will come down and just smite you on the spot. Yeah, like you don't disobey in a situation like that, right?
Yeah. Also, he's got that drip, dude. He's got like gold toe rings. He's got like gold like necklaces and that cap, and like he just got that aura.
Oh yeah, no, he's vibing. He's got that drip, and like the first time we see him, I think he's doing like a bit of a pose where he's like laying on his side, you know.
He's relaxed.
Hand and arm, yeah.
I think it was mentioned. I think they were talking about the Montana, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How I guess his ability, if you train it enough, he was able to hear everything that's going on in the island.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just like because he's technically God that he acquired these abilities, or he like trained enough
Well,
to be able to do that.
one of the
or-
children, Shandorians, has the ability. She was kind of just born with it as well.
Yeah, she was able to kind of hear what was going on with the priest fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I believe she was like, "Oh no, Satori's down." Like she just was able to
Mhm.
sense that.
Mm-hmm.
So
welcome
yeah,
to
that was actually another character.
welcome
I'm
to the real One
interested in.
Piece, when now it's just a bunch of questions constantly. This is what the
Yeah, I
podcasts are going to
know.
be going forward. Just like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this?
You'll get one answer and 20 more questions.
Yeah, it gets
We'll
crazy.
find out in like 500 episodes.
So, where did you end off? You were messaging me something about a Nell.
I believe the last episode I ended off in was when Anel popped onto the boat with Nami and Usopp and Sanji, I believe, and
Yeah.
Gonfa was also on the boat.
Gonfa
and
was
he
there, but
he
Sanji
was
got
just like-
smoked.
Oh, he did. It was like no effort on Anel's end. He was just.
Terrifying.
He is a very, very scary guy. Because
Yep.
I think the villains that we've had up until this point have just been like very powerful guys with devil fruit powers, right? But we are
Mhm.
now dealing with somebody. I don't know if he has a devil fruit or not, but it almost seems like he has godlike abilities. Like he is God. So I'm wondering how the Straw Hats are gonna be able to like defeat him and try to like, I guess, beat him. Yeah.
Yeah, do you have
I
any
don't know.
theories on how they're gonna beat him, or like the future of the arc? Where do you think it's going?
I honestly don't know because they have already been kind of, some of them, not all of them, but some of them have been struggling against some of these guys because they're not used to fighting the way they do. They're
Mhm.
not used to having all their moves get predicted and dodged and everything. So I don't know if maybe they have to train their own Montana or like find a loophole or something. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how Luffy's gonna be able to handle this guy.
Right. And the
It's crazy.
situation is also just kind of chaotic in that like there's
It
so many
is.
factions that were already there, and then the Straw Hats kind of come in, and now, this people that already lived there, like I forget his name, like they don't like Luffy and his crew, and Ellen them, they don't like Luffy and their crew. It's just kind of whoever you meet and happen to fight,
Yeah, everyone's against them. Honestly, it kind of
Yeah.
annoyed me at this point. I remember like, being annoyed that the Shandorians would just like pick fights with the Straw Hats for no reason. It felt like.
Yeah.
Obviously, there may have been a mistaken like as to who they were initially on the White Sea when Wiper attacked. But even still, like Wiper attacked Luffy, and the guy with the hat attacked Zoro. Like these are people that like, potentially could be taking out priests for you. It's like if your
Yeah.
goal is to take out Enel and the priest, like why are you stopping to fight? Like Luffy was like, "Oh, you guys were here first. Well, good day to you." Like he like.
Well, they kind of had some conversations between themselves about that a little bit, because that's what kind of spurred them to action, was like all these fights happening that where like a priest went down, and then the old Godfall went down against another priest. Like all these fights are happening, and that's what spurred them to action.
Yeah.
And then they actually debate between themselves about that. They're like, well, if they're the enemy of our enemy, are they our friend? He's like, how dare you think like that? And like, no, they're all our enemies. Like we gotta.
Yeah, they're all your enemies, but maybe some of them are more pressing enemies. Like stopping to fight Luffy after like your body's in shambles from the rejectile is just
Yeah.
crazy to me. Like let him go and go find Enel, go find a priest, and then fight them later if they're still your enemies. No,
yeah, he definitely doesn't come across as the most rational guy at first, right? Like he's very, very much a hothead.
Yeah.
But speaking of the rejectile, how crazy is it that whenever they mention 81 people in this bit of a free for all, who expected one of the priests to go down to make it number 80, right? Like,
know.
you think of those are like the three big bads that are left. Like Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp teamed up on one, and then I don't know. I was like little crazy twists like that.
I just find it like kind of crazy that it took a little bit for the Straw Hats to be able to defeat one of the priests, and it took Wiper like just a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
to defeat. Is it Shura, the one with the bird?
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, Wiper
It's Shura,
one
the
shot
one-
Shura. But
Yeah, he-
the rejectile has been kind of explained to be 10 times more powerful than a normal impact dial, but it does damage. You could tell it does damage to yourself as well.
Yeah.
So
Bit of a double-edged
it's a
sword.
double-edged sword, and there's probably only so many times he could use it. Slash, like picking a fight with Luffy after using the projectile is just actually ridiculous to me. Like it's just like, why don't you go and find another priest or something? It's just frustrating because then
Well,
you have Zoro taking out like one of the like that guy was a good fighter with those two guns and like those like
Yeah.
like he's from Canada for sure
Yeah.
with those fucking blades.
but these are pirates coming into your home, trying to steal your gold, etc.
Yeah, it's true.
I get it. I get it.
I get it, but I died to see it. It drove me crazy.
Uh,
Anyway, any final thoughts, Poseidon?
I'm excited to see where this arc goes. I want to know. There's just so many questions. Like these people are special. How did
Oh.
they, do all these like cool things? How are they gonna defeat Anel? I mean, I'm hoping that maybe because they're not used to what do they call them? The Blue Sea people? Something?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do they call? That they don't know very much about the Blue Sea people. That maybe the Straw Hats can use that to their advantage. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how this arc goes. I've been really enjoying myself, and I hope to see Robin do do more things. Please make her fight. I want to see her fight.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we got a lot of fights coming up. This first half was a lot of setup. The second half is just pure action. You probably have like 20 episodes left of pure action, and that's what we're gonna be doing
Yeah.
in 2 weeks, boys. Finishing off the rest of Skypiea. Obviously, Jordan, is there any other moments you wanted to discuss or favorite parts or anything before we wrap
Y-
up?
Yeah, I got two.
Okay.
The first one I just want to run by Poseidon real quick. Who do you think
Yeah.
fixed the Going Merry?
Oh,
I know we
didn't
don't
go
know
over
yet.
that yet, huh? Because Usopp
It was just
was in the
fixed,
middle of
right?
the night. You just see this guy look over at Usopp. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Big old smile, and Usopp just is like, "I'm done. I'm not gonna be here anymore," and runs away. I do not know.
And Usopp pointed out that like it was the same style as back when they were on the Blue Sea. So like, who could have known what it looked like before they came to Sky Island?
Has
Something
be
to think
somebody
on
from
there.
down there, huh?
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to kind of bring up before we called it was just never lose track of the little moments, and I don't know, maybe they bring me more joy than most, but I love Robin's dynamic in the interpersonal connections of the crew. How she's so competent, but she ends up doubting herself because everybody else is so confident. Like if that makes sense. Like she's like, "Oh, we need to turn off the campfire because we'll be giving away our position here."
That was such a
Going
good
into sleep.
moment.
And everybody else is like, "Are
Oh,
you
the
stupid?
dogs!
Like, why
Are you
would we?"
stupid? What an
She's
amateur.
like, she doubts herself. She's like, "Wait, like, am I like what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, you got to have a campfire if you're gonna go camping. That's
And
camping
then-
101."
And then it, like Nami and Robin kind of like
Yeah.
make a comment about it, and then it cuts to Sanji and Zoro like, "We got a lot of wood, guys."
Yeah,
Dude,
And
and then
then,
they ended up dancing with the wolves.
That was
Yeah.
so funny. I love that scene.
So good, so good.
They were getting drunk with them.
yeah. And my other favorite moment
Oh.
is like they split up into two parties on purpose, and then one of those parties, Robin, Chopper, Luffy, and Zoro, they get split up on accident again. And they try to meet up where they started, and Robin actually goes there. She's competent. She's like, "Did I get the wrong spot?" And then Zoro, he ends up some other place. He's like, "Man, everybody else must have got lost." And then I don't know. It brings me joy to see the little map where they all go in different directions. Where Zoro's completely wrong, Robin's right on point, Luffy's just kind of wandering off straight line
Dude,
other direction.
It's
confident.
so freaking funny, especially like because
Chopper's
Zoro thinks he's right, and he's like, you know what? I guess I got to keep on moving. I'm gonna go right, and then walks left immediately. And then
Uh-huh.
Luffy's like, well, the other guys must have got lost. Like he thinks he knows where he's going. He's like, I gotta go south, so I'm gonna go where it's hotter. Like
It's just a whole new layer to that because Robin's usually right, but like she doubts herself so
Yeah.
much because everybody else is so confident about it. They're like, "Are you stupid? Like, come on! Obviously, it's this way. Why? Because north means up." Stuff like that.
oh my god.
But yeah,
I'm glad you brought up the
Nothing.
camping scene because not only was it funny, but there was also some like really cool moments with it.
Mhm.
the little things on
The
the
little
journey. Don't
things.
ever lose sight of those.
On that note, guys, in 2 weeks we'll be covering the rest of Skypiea, and then after that we have the best, most goated non-canon filler arc, which we will do a full episode on. Yeah, look forward to that, Poseidon. It's been a pleasure, and just like that, I will see you guys all next time, boys. Boy.
Later, everybody.
Bye bye.
That was a good one.